I'm sorry. Hi everyone, it's me. And today, Kung Fu Panda 什么? Which you think about it is quite weird, right? It's not a hybrid of a bear and a cat, like a laboratory thing. Sorry.
Pandas, man. Who doesn't love pandas? They're already legendary for their sneezes and their reactions to sneezes, but they also love slides, playing in leaves, and eating 10 to 14 hours every day. I mean, I'm not necessarily one for spirit animals, but that panda lifestyle sounds awfully relatable to me. But you know who doesn't love pandas? A surprising number of naturalists and economists who write articles with not-so-cuddly titles like, "Why I Hate Pandas and You Should Too," and "Humans Should Stop Meddling with Pandas and Let Them Die," and "Pandas aren't cute, they're death-loving oxygen thieves." Yikes. I mean, sure, we do spend a lot of conservation money on animals that seem uninterested in mating for the survival of their own species, but ask yourself this: if we let pandas die, who is gonna become the dragon warrior to save all of China? Yeah, now you see how important pandas are.
4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory.
Hello Internet, welcome to Film Theory. Hello! Thank you so much, let's start!
The show that studies martial arts footage in super slow motion to make sure that everyone is in fact kung fu fighting, rather than like, you know, judo fighting or capoeira fighting or Krav Maga fighting. Dear viewer, if you've been on the cinematic journey that I call Film Theory for more than a few episodes, you already know my would-be creepy if it weren't my job level obsession with kids movies. But now, it's even less creepy because I've got myself a toddler, and I can spend quality time with my son watching something that we can both enjoy, while bonus, still getting my work done on the side. Multitasking for the win. Our most recent father-son feature, Kung Fu Panda.
Yes, Mad Pad become Dad Pad!
My son loved the movie, but as any of you who've ever been around a toddler know, little kids are proto-theorists who ask a lot of questions. Luckily, his questions so far have been pretty simple. What's that? A panda. What's he doing? Kung Fu. Boom! Nailing it. But as he gets older, those questions are gonna start to get more sophisticated. How is the panda such a good fighter? Why did Oogway choose Po to be the dragon warrior to save the valley in the first place as opposed to literally anyone else? Why do all the animals have themselves creepy human teeth? Reasonable questions all, future version of my son. And while I can't answer the third one, today I do want to cover the first two. Why is Po, of all the animals, the dragon warrior? What makes Po so special? You ever notice that it never really gets that solid of an explanation in the movie? In a fictional world where there's already plenty of other highly skilled and trained warriors, what makes this random panda the chosen one? Oh, there's a reason. And that reason is getting this thing in the Chinese theater so it can make boatloads of cash in what's become the most important theatrical market in the world. But the cynical realities of filmmaking aside, I do believe that there's also a reason in-universe for why Po is the perfect candidate above and beyond everyone else, and it's not what you'd expect. So shove as many dumplings in your mouth as you can and rest those comment fingers of fury. We're jump kicking into the world of Kung Fu Panda. Skadoosh! When Master Oogway determines that Po is in fact the dragon warrior, a mythical hero he foretold would one day save the valley and gain limitless power, most of the other characters were skeptical that Po could possibly be a great warrior for one main reason: his body type. They're not exactly subtle about it either.
Look at you, this fat butt, flabby arms, and this ridiculous belly.
Now, this kind of stuff was probably my least favorite part of Kung Fu Panda, because it's perpetuating some negative stereotypes about bodies that just flat out aren't true. The idea that you have to have yourself six-pack abs in order to be a good athlete or a good fighter isn't just biased, it's actually scientifically inaccurate. And no, I'm not just talking about sumo wrestlers here. For instance, in 2019, the heavyweight boxing champion of the world was this guy, Anthony Joshua, and he faced off against this guy, Andy Ruiz Jr. Anthony Joshua looks like what we've been conditioned to think that an elite athlete should look like.
With all the abs, with all the toned muscles.
And Andy Ruiz doesn't.
Yes, he has muscles, but it's not toned to the point which, like...
But since I'm bringing this up, you probably know how this story is gonna end. Ruiz knocked Joshua down 4 times throughout the fight, ultimately winning by TKO. That's technical knockout for those of you who've never played Punch-Out before. Sure, they had themselves a rematch that Anthony Joshua won by decision, but Andy Ruiz has 33 wins in the ring and only 2 defeats as a professional boxer, so it's not like he's some nobody who just threw one lucky punch. Sports nutritionist Dr. Mayer Renchortis said after the fight that Ruiz's additional mass was actually working to his advantage. And that's simple
Yes.
physics. Since force is mass times acceleration, more mass behind the punch means a stronger punch. Ruiz is also not the only elite fighter with this sort of body type. This is Daniel Cormier, one of only a handful of mixed martial artists ever to hold the championship in multiple different weight classes.
Awesome.
Serena Williams has faced all sorts of criticisms about her body, mainly that she's too muscular to play tennis, which, let's be real, you're too muscular to be an athlete is probably one of the dumbest of dumb takes, but go figure, she's almost undoubtedly the greatest women's tennis player in history.
I agree with you. And what is the interviewer's questions? Wow, why are you phrasing it in such a negative way? What is the interview thinking about, man? But still, I agree that she's an amazing individual of all time.
We could do this all day. The point is that looking at someone's body shape tells you nothing about their physical skill, their flexibility, strength, speed, balance, or any other attribute that actually matters in athletic performance.
Someone that is very skinny can eat a lot. Someone that is very fat can do double, triple spins on the air. Can you do it? Jump up, spin 3 times, spin 4 times, land down. They can do it. Can you do it?
Can Po be the Dragon Warrior despite not having washboard abs and giant biceps? Of course he can.
Possible.
And in terms of how much
Possible.
strength he can put behind his strikes, his weight may actually be acting as an advantage.
This is talking about Kung Fu Panda. It's not talking about bodybuilding panda. So different.
There's also an argument to be made that Po's body type makes him a better warrior not just because he can inflict more damage, but also because he can absorb more damage. Apparently pandas fall out of trees all the time, and according to zookeepers, don't usually get injured as much as they get embarrassed. Just when I thought pandas couldn't get any more relatable. Anyway, science suggests that their added body fat might be helping them avoid injury when this happens. A 2003 study found that higher levels of subcutaneous fat, quote, was associated with significantly decreased injury for people in car accidents. A study from Leeds Beckett University also demonstrated that overweight individuals had a higher pressure pain tolerance than those whose body mass indexes were in the normal range. And this isn't just me randomly applying real-world science to a fictional movie.
Yes, case and points. You can be fit and healthy, but you can also be overweight at the same time. It's possible.
We see it actively play out in the films. In Kung Fu Panda 2, Po takes a blast from Lord Shen's cannon at nearly point-blank range, and he manages to survive it because it hits him in his more cushioned midsection. And in the original Kung Fu Panda, the Snow Leopard Tai Lung's special attack looks like it affects his opponent's nerves as he uses it to paralyze the Furious Five. But Po is immune to that attack in his final battle, and instead of being paralyzed by it, he just gets tickled. Given Mantis's difficulty finding Po's pressure points earlier in the movie due to his rotund physique, it appears that carrying a few more LBSs is Po's secret offensive and defensive weapon. But
I like it that when the panda faced the wrong direction.
MatPat, aren't pandas super low energy and lazy? Wouldn't that make Po a terrible fighter? Oh yes, the letter to the editor that we seem to get every episode. It's true that normal pandas have low metabolic rates and are seen as relatively slow-moving and lazy, but Po isn't a normal panda. See, the main reason that pandas have such slow metabolisms is that their diets are horribly inefficient. Pandas have short digestive tracts, which is perfect for eating meat, but instead they spend 10+ hours per day eating bamboo to get their nutritional needs. And then, because they can't digest it all that well, they have to poop about 40 times a day. You heard that right, 40 batches of panda pellets per day. Charmin really should have been using pandas on all those ad campaigns. But on a more chemical level, it means that pandas have extremely low levels of the hormone tyrosine, which regulates thyroid function and things like energy usage. But you'll notice that Po's diet isn't bamboo. It's, well, everything else.
Meatballs, noodles,
Especially dumplings
apple.
and bean buns and tofu. All the things that Mr. Ping serves. And wouldn't you know it, meat, soybeans, and other legumes are all the foods that are highest in tyrosine. So it's likely that Po is eating a diet that both will make him much more energetic than the normal panda, while also saving him time on chewing wood and clogging his septic tank. Maybe that diet is just what we needed to turn an ordinary panda into a martial arts master. So that's all well and good. Po's body type is actually helping him attack with more force and cushion blows more easily, Maybe his special diet is making him more energetic than your average panda, but still, why didn't Oogway just choose one of the Furious Five as a dragon warrior? I mean, this one has always bugged me since, you know, they were all seasoned kung fu experts to begin with, and Po was not. So I did some digging and realized that while yes, they all knew kung fu, they didn't know the right kind of kung fu. See, calling kung fu only one thing is like saying basketball and water polo are the same sport because in both you're trying to throw a ball into a net. There are a ton of different styles of kung fu, including the Shaolin animal style.
Yes, case in points to my non-Chinese speakers, right? There's a lot of different types, okay? 功夫, 武术, 武功, 功法, as you go, a lot more. They can all be said as skills, techniques, martial arts. You get the point.
What are 5 of the most common
arts of martials or just martial skills, martial techniques? You get the point. Things that will inflict or protect you from harm. Case in point, floor, bam, psh, break fall.
Animal styles, provided you're not including In-N-Out secret menu? I bet you can guess. Tiger, monkey, crane, snake, and mantis. Just like we see in the movie. Bet you were wondering why there was a random mantis as part of the team, huh? Well, now you know. It's a dedicated style of kung fu. Each of these styles
Actually, there's a lot more. There's a dragon, there's a tiger.
is used by its corresponding member of the Furious Five, but none of them in particular use another common animal style, the dragon style. Now, there's no such thing as panda style in the real world, but Po actually has some instincts that would help him utilize that dragon style most effectively. One of the defining elements of dragon style kung fu is the dragon step, which moves in this unconventional zigzag kind of dance. And before Po receives any training, his instinct is to use, as he calls them, his crazy feet. And given that the dragon style is in many ways a mashup of techniques from all the other animal styles, Po is in a great position to learn it because we know he's been a super fan of the Furious Five since the beginning. He's been studying / practicing their techniques in his bedroom since day one.
Yes, oh, fun fact by the way, if you have noticed, right, tiger style is actually fiercer than dragon style. You might think that, well, tiger should be better than dragon, right? Should be fiercer, right? No. Tiger style is super fierce. But dragon style is not that fierce in comparison.
It's one of the first things that we know
It's more of a combination.
about him. Each member of the Furious Five
Because, well, the dragons is like shaped like a snake. Yes. That they can breathe fire.
can have their own
They can fly.
specialization, but by learning from
That have different animal features.
all of them, Po is laying the groundwork to become the Dragon Warrior Master without ever realizing it. In fact, Oogway kinda tells us this at the end of Kung Fu Panda 3, that his vision for the Dragon Warrior was someone who could serve as a sort of connecting point.
On the first day we met, I saw the future of Kung Fu. And the past, I saw the panda who could unite them both. That is why I chose you, Po. Both sides of the yin and yang.
Literally black and white. Get it? Yin yang. Yin yang 之分. Yin is normally negative. Yang is normally known as positive. So sometimes you can think of it as black and white. Yin yang. And yeah, panda is black and white. Sometimes brown because of the mud and.
Wei already knew from his own experience that pandas had the ability to master Qi, the spiritual elements of Kung Fu, but his mention of Yin and Yang here is relevant. Even though Oogway's first impression of Po is that he's a buffoon who just crash-landed in front of him, he sees the opposing side that is Po's potential. That's why when Oogway laid eyes on what appeared to be a clumsy, unassuming panda, he knew that inside was also a graceful and powerful dragon. Unless when Oogway says that he saw both sides of the Yin and Yang, he means Po was black and white, and his fur made him literally look like a yin-yang sign. Not the whole body shape thing and mastering different styles and it's definitely not that thing. It was clearly the body shape and the diet and his super fandom of the Furious Five that made him the perfect dragon warrior. Oh, and also the whole make money in China thing. That one's actually probably the most important. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And fun fact, you know I was able to watch Kung Fu Panda in order to make this theory with the help of our sponsor for today's episode, NordVPN. VPN. That is not a joke. This is a true story. So for years, I've been telling you guys about how Nord protects your privacy online with its military-grade encryption. In fact, your information is double encrypted for increased anonymity, and it works across all your different devices, which is super important for something like your phone when you're using unsecured networks. But here's a real-world example of how I used Nord for this very episode. Kung Fu Panda isn't streaming here in the US. Or I guess it is, but it's streaming on HBO Max, and I've been really reticent to get HBO Max because I refuse to get yet another subscription service. So I used Nord to switch to a different server. Literally one click, and suddenly it looks like I live in Japan, where, lo and behold, Kung Fu Panda 1 and 3 are streaming on Netflix. But what about Kung Fu Panda 2? Well, click again, and I'm suddenly in the UK, where Kung Fu Panda 2 is available, alongside a bunch of other DreamWorks classics like Megamind. Heck, I was even able to find myself a new Kung Fu Panda series I wasn't familiar with, Secrets of the Scroll. Without Nord, I would have had to pay for all of those movies, which would have cost me anywhere between like 16 bucks on the low end to at least 35. And let me be clear, in that single moment, Nord paid for itself for the entire year. And that was just one weekend for just these movies. I can do that to find pretty much any movie that I want. Here in the States, you're paying for like at least 3 subscription services to see everything you want. With the power of Nord, a global Netflix has basically got everything you could possibly want. So stay protected across all your different devices while also staying entertained and saving you money in the process, all thanks to Nord. Go to nordvpn.com/filmtheory and use the code FILMTHEORY, FILMTHEORY, to get yourself 68% off a 2-year plan, plus an additional month for free. That is nordvpn.com/filmtheory with the code FILMTHEORY at checkout. Link is down below, first line of the description. Skadoosh!
Skadoosh! Well, thank you all so much for watching this video together with me. I hope you find this video very interesting and quite unique, right? It's very special. Anyways, I hope that you find this video very nice to watch, quite entertaining, enjoyable. If you do like this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Comment down below if you think of us. Don't forget to follow my channel to appreciate all of your support and encouragement for my work. Thank you all so much. You're the best, and hope to see you all in my next video. But hey, that's just a theory, a film theory, and cut. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye bye. Subscribe. Thank you.